All right, everybody, welcome back. Promise this is the last time we're going to go through this, but it's good to iterate through the data and see what we want to keep and what we want to take out of our data sets for this special teams this special teams factorization. Remember, if this is the first video you're watching, make sure you watch the previous ones because you're not going to understand what the heck I'm doing until you go back and see what we've done already, which is basically found this data from Kaggle, loaded it into Azure Synapse Analytics and to our storage account, and are going to work through Azure Synapse Analytics in order to perform these operations and do some Python notebooks and things like that to get our data the way that we want it, and then we're going to start performing some analytics on the data in order to generate a special teams power ranking number or something like that, kind of like what the QBR is. So make sure that you like, share the videos. The more we get, the more attention this gets, the more this could actually become, who knows, an NFL uh, type stat. I mean, I've never seen a stat on special teams except for like individual stats that they show on ESPN, but there's no power ranking or ranking factor for special teams. I don't know what to call it yet. Maybe that'll be the last video. We'll see. So we're going to go back into the whiteboard here and work on this last part of our data. I believe it's the last part of the data, which is the biggest one. This is our scouting data for the special teams. Now, I've already mentioned that IDs are going to be good to keep, so we're going to hold on to our IDs. Definitely want to know if the snaps were high, low, left, right. That's going to be a big factor, I would imagine. Um, Time from snap to kick on pump plays specifically. And then hang time. Yeah, I think hang time is going to be one. Definitely the kick type, and it tells us what values those are going to be. Uh, so they split these up into kickoff plays and for punt plays. So I'll probably have to split up that data. It looks like there are different letter designations for each type. So I may have to split these up into the letters and again encode them because when we're dealing with numbers, we got to deal with numbers, right? We can't deal with text values. So that's part of this whole data cleaning process. Intention of the kick, I think that might be something to hold on. We'll probably keep a lot of this. So that and the actual for sure. Return direction, yes, and the return actual. If there's missed tackles, so I'll probably, let's see, jersey number and team code of players charged with the missed tackle on the play. So what I can do is I could iterate through the number and find out how many missed tackles. So I want number of missed tackles there. Uh, Definitely want to know who assisting tacklers and the tacklers. Maybe not so much assisting, but we'll hold on to it there. Uh, Front wall, mid wall, and back wall. Yeah, we'll hold on to formation. We'll see what, maybe we can take that weight and apply it to the formation in that. The gunners, now I may get a count of gunners. So maybe the count of the gunners and count of the rushers. Again, this could all possibly be done by formation too. And then count of the vices on the other side. I'm also going to have to take a look and see, or I may have to take a look and split these up into offensive and defensive special teams, and then figure out what each one of those are, and then determine that. Because unlike offense and defense, special teams works on both sides of the ball. So it is kind of like it's a double-edged sword to try to do this, and you'll have to figure out how they perform defensively, how they perform offensively, and try to find out what the weight is of each one of those on each one, and then figure out what the number is on that. So that's a whole nother problem within a problem. So thinking about these things as we go. I may want to even probably put those as notes. So let me get a different color here, and just want to say uh, split into split into offensive and defensive special teams data so that I can do that. I also mentioned I may get average weight. Is there anything else I was thinking about doing with this? This one is definitely going to be a big deal. Is the kick contact type on how the punt was fielded. So this is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Or if the kick team was knocked back, or the kick team caught the ball, or the kick team knocked it forward. Okay. Muffed, out of bounds. Okay. So those types of kick contacts. So there we go. At least now we know what to keep and what we're going to take out of this. A lot of this is going to revolve around our scouting data. So that's going to be more of our fact table or our fact data as opposed to some of these other ones that we're going to end up combining with the final data set. Because we've taken a lot of these other fields out. So, but we should be able to, since I have game, play ID, I got game and play ID here. I got NFL ID. So I do have NFL ID that I can at least attach to this table and filter, so that's good. And then I have game and play ID here and possibly NFL ID. Nope, but that doesn't matter. As long as I have relationships built between each one of these tables, then I should be good to go. And I have game IDs, I have play IDs, and I have NFL ID to at least get in this one for the tracking data so that I can bring all these tables together. So now I know at least I can build the relationships into here and filter out the data that I want by player, by whatever, and get our huge data sets down to smaller data sizes so that I can further clean the data and then start aggregating the data how I want to. So now I know, and I'm going to hold on to this and save this so that we can reference it in our later videos when we're going through the process of cleaning the data. But now that I have a general idea of what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, instead of me doing the whole this thing for 5 minutes while I'm looking through data, this will give me a good spot on at least combining this into a singular data set and reducing the size of it before I start cleaning it and further filtering, like getting rid of duplicates and getting rid of and encoding it, and maybe even generating some arrays so that I can, there may be some data I want to combine in here as array data so that if we need to perform any operations on that, then we can do that. So that'll do it for at least looking through the data and getting a general sense of what we want to do. Starting with the next set of videos, we're going to be diving into Python and doing the do on at least getting this data set aggregated into a single one and scrubbing it down to a nice clean data set. So thanks for being here. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.